All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. Captain Kirk Cousins with the comeback 70-yard game-winning drive that took only 1 minute and 5 seconds, capped off by a beautiful move from Drake London on Darius Slay Jr. with 34 seconds left. And then one of the most underrated, even though he gets paid handsomely, produces unbelievable statistics, eye test, stat test, you name it, in Jesse Bates the third caps it off with an interception. Folks, that was an unbelievable victory, and it's week 2, and the Atlanta Falcons unfortunately had to go against their head coach in the first game of the season for the last 3 years, Arthur Smith, the OC at Pittsburgh, who knows the entire team. The entire team, he knows it all. And I get it, you bring in a new scheme, you bring in a new quarterback, but he knows the personnel like no else, right? Arthur Smith was the head coach for 3 years. And so it's just a tough week 1 draw. And also Kirk Cousins hasn't played football in forever. And it's not like this game was pretty. It's not like it was beautiful. They got dominated time of possession-wise, 36 for Philadelphia, only 24 minutes for Atlanta. But they still won the yards battle, 385 total yards. And folks, just like that, the Atlanta Falcons are 1-1, and they are back. So welcome back to the channel. Obviously, we're talking about the Atlanta Falcons in today's video. But before we do, if you guys enjoy it, be sure to hit that like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content, along with at least one Falcons video every single week. If we try and get this video to 100 likes, that would mean the absolute world to me. Now, Tampa Bay is 2-0. We kind of knew that Atlanta and Tampa Bay are 2 really talented double-digit win teams here in the NFC, and I'm really excited for their first showdown in a couple of weeks. But the advanced metrics of that comeback win, it's something you really had to experience. If you haven't watched it, go check it out. Cousins' pass to London was Atlanta's first game-winning touchdown with under 2 minutes since 2016. 2016. And that is exactly why you paid him what you paid him, right? Michael Penix Jr., I think, is going to be a really talented quarterback. It shocked the NFL world considering you just made history in your money that you coughed over to Kirk Cousins, coming off a torn Achilles. And you draft Michael Penix in the first top 10 picks, and people are freaking out. But Falcons fans, hardcore NFL fans, you can zoom out and look at it and be like, oh, okay, Atlanta's quarterback position is set for the next 10 years. But Penix is a really good quarterback, or hopefully he's going to be a really good quarterback. He was really good in his last year at Washington, good college career. But the point is, that's why you paid Kirk Cousins for that drive right there. All right. According to ESPN stats and info, it was the last of 6 lead changes in the game with 1 minute and 56 seconds left. The Falcons had a 0.7% chance to win. It was the 7th most improbable comeback since Next Gen Stats began tracking win probability 8 years ago, back in 2016. Captain Kirk Cousins finished 20-29, 241 yards, 2 touchdowns, and then you had 8.3 yards per completion. That's a big statistic for Kirk Cousins as they bounce back against that tough game against Pittsburgh. And not only do they have Arthur Smith at OC, but they have one of the best defenses in the National Football League. Once again, Kirk Cousins has not played football in a very long time. Kirk also improved his record in Monday Night Football starts to 4-10, so he's making that comeback. But folks, Darnell Mooney, Bijan Robinson, the defense is so underrated. They really are. Darnell Mooney, really interesting player. I covered the Chicago Bears for the last couple of years, born and raised in the Chicagoland area. He led the Falcons with 3 catches for 88 yards. He had 2 back-to-back huge money catches for almost 50 yards on that final drive, and then had that 41-yard touchdown catch in the 3rd quarter. It's crazy because I love Justin Fields, as a player, as an athlete, as a person. He seems really dope. But the amount of montages, compilations that you see of Justin Fields just throwing the ball nowhere near Darnell Mooney was very alarming. And if you're a Bears fan, you know this. Darnell Mooney, a couple years ago, 1,000-yard receiver, looked like he had a really bright future in the NFL. And the Bears' offense last year was pretty much DJ Moore and Justin Fields thrown to only DJ Moore. So Darnell Mooney is huge because you have Bijan Robinson, you have Tyler Algier, you have Kyle Pitts, you got Drake London, People were freaking out. Who's wide receiver number 2? Folks, it's Darnell Mooney. London also had 6 catches for 54 yards, including the game-winning touchdown. Like I said, he was actually open a couple of times for touchdowns in that football game, specifically on that last drive there, but made it count on that last play there to seal the deal against Darius Slay. And then with the running room, I mean, it's probably the best running back room in the National Football League. What's crazy is Bijan Robinson's played 1 season and 2 games. Tyler Algier, extremely underrated. Atlanta in total ran for 152 yards, led by Bijan Robinson's 14 carries for 97 yards, averaged 6.9 yards per carry. And then Tyler Algier right behind him, 9 carries for 53 yards. In total, Atlanta, 5.4 yards per carry against, in my opinion, one of the better defenses in the NFL, especially on paper, in the Philadelphia Eagles. 1-1. All right. And, going back to that Kirk Cousins signing, the largest free agency deal in NFL history this offseason. 4-year contract. It could be worth up to $180 million. And then you had Jesse Bates that we were just mentioning. Huge. Like, he signed a 4-year, $64 million deal last summer. Game-stealing interception. He also had a huge PBU, pass breakup, at the goal line against Devontae Smith to force the field goal in the 3rd quarter. He also led the Atlanta Falcons with 12 tackles. Speaking of this defense, A.J. Terrell, unbelievably talented young cornerback in the National Football League. And then Matthew Judon, man. If Matthew Judon can just hit a sack, if he can just stay healthy, it really was that big of a move. I remember like covering the Falcons the entire summer before, or the spring, I should say, before the NFL draft. And a lot of people were questioning if they were going to go with a wide receiver in Rome Odunze. But I think a lot of people actually had them coined to just select Dallas Turner at pick number 8, right? And if they didn't, then the Bears would probably take Dallas Turner at pick number 9. Obviously, none of that happened. Odunze goes to 9, with Chicago, but Atlanta at 8 decides to take Michael Penix. The only thing the defense really is lacking is name brand players. And if you got shop at Aldi, I love Aldi, it's the same stuff. This is a really talented defense, and they've got dogs littered all across the defensive front, the defensive back room, linebacker room, you name it. Matthew Judon and Justin Simmons, that trade and signing, it sealed the deal for me that Atlanta is going to be a really good defense. And then obviously your head coach has a really good defensive history. You got the quarterbacks, you got the offensive line, you've got the skilled player. I would love to see more Kyle Pitts moving forward as he sits on my fantasy football bench. But folks, you got Drake London, Darnell Mooney, tight end, running back room, offensive line, quarterback. You got the defense, you got the coach, you got the coordinators. The Atlanta Falcons are officially back. Everyone was freaking out after that week 1 loss with Kirk Cousins, and it's just going to take a little bit of time. And this was a huge comeback win that literally had less than 1% probability leading up to that game-winning drive. So thank you guys so much for watching. Shout out to Saquon Barkley for dropping that ball. Hit the like button, hit that sub button for daily NFL content. And Falcons fans especially, give me any thoughts. Give me your player of the game from last night down below. We'll see you in a couple of days. Peace.